Mr. Card Collector 2 taking a shot at the card community that he's not a fan of.
He was. This just came into the program about an hour ago. Matt Gardner on Twitter said CardCollector2 response after being questioned about his third, not one, not two, but third huge hit in a week. He said real positive for kids and the hobbyist. CardCollector2 apparently said these were literally bought at a third party, assuming he's meaning the boxes that he opened. But the tinfoil hat gang is always watching. In CardCollector2, kind of known as the family guy, but one of the reasons why, the tinfoil hat brigade does have their eye on him. Probably two reasons. One, he's kind of the chosen one for these manufacturers, for the hobby positivity crowd. I mean, they literally made a card of the guy. But secondly, a lot of people don't remember this, but this is 2 years ago in his hostage video that he had to make after the MarxCards situation. So what CardCollector2 was doing is he was running like a PSA group sub business. He was taking in these cards at his shop and just sending them over to MarxCards. But he really never let anybody know about this. MarxCards went bankrupt, didn't pay for any of the inventory they sent over at PSA. PSA was holding the cards hostage. And I think CardCollector2 had to come out of pocket over $100,000 to pay for these cards and get them back into collectors' hands. But it kind of poses a lot of questions. I think I mentioned this at the time, and this is quite a long time ago. This is 2 years ago. Why the hell were you doing business with MarxCards? The I'm all about the vibes guy.
As you know, with me, it's all about the vibes.
Why in
God's
name
obviously
did he think that was a good idea?
Obviously, in hindsight, it was a terrible decision. But even in using foresight and even using, today's thought process is he was a middleman. And by that, I mean CardCollector2 was a middleman in between the collector and PSA. That's what a group submitter is. They're essentially just a middleman. Now, it does cut out some cost and some shipping and all that stuff with PSA. That's why they give a little bit of a break in pricing to group submitters. And the group submitter does collect a little bit of a profit per card. They're given a discounted rate by PSA. They quote you typically a higher rate. So, for example, PSA might go to the group submitter and say, we'll do it. This is just an example. We'll do it for $10 per card. And the group submitter goes to you and says, we'll do it for $12 per card. So for every card that you submit, they're collecting $2. Now they have to package and organize and ship. And there's obviously some counterparty risk here as well, because what CardCollector2 did was had the brilliant idea, Ryan, of not only being a middleman, but being a middleman for the middleman. So he was taking the cards in on a group submission basis. He was taking those cards, then shipping them off to MarxCards, who was also a middleman, who then would take them over to PSA. But as we come to find out, MarxCards was collecting fees from maybe CardCollector2 and many other collectors out there. Apparently, he was one of the larger group submitters in the country at the time, and he walked away with hundreds of thousands of dollars in his pocket that was actually meant to go to PSA. So he walked away with customer money, more or less running a Ponzi scheme, if you will. The Ponzi scheme would have kept going if he would not have gotten cut off by PSA or was all about the vibes and blew the money. So CardCollector2, which again, the industry has anointed as the chosen one, somebody who is apparently an influencer, could not run a group submission business on his own. He had to take the cards in and send them to another group submitter. He could not, for whatever reason, I don't know why, he couldn't figure out how to do that themselves. And we've talked about it here many times on the program. We still can't figure out why collectors can't do this on their own as well. Why do you need a guy like CardCollector2? Why do you need a guy like MarxCards? Why do you need these guys to grade your cards? So you buy the cards, you need somebody else like PSA to tell you the grade of that card. And so you also need somebody else to send that card in to the grading company that's going to tell you what grade that picture of a man is. And what we find out over the past year, Ryan, is not only that, but we need another man to sell us a cleaning kit. So we need a picture of a man. We need a cleaning kit sold by another man. We need to get our pictures of men. We need to, and also it stretches out further than that, Ryan. Most people in this hobby need another man to tell them what to buy. They need Jeff Wilson, CardCollector2, Mojo Sports, any of the number of influencers out there, the hype beast, if you will, the Gary V's, the Jabs families. They need them to tell them what to buy, when to buy it, what sets to buy. Then they need to get another man's cleaning kit. They need to rub that down. And in some cases, you get another man to clean your cards for you. Because you can't, heaven forbid, you clean your own cards yourself.
No.
Got to send that to another man, have him clean the cards for you. Then you send that picture of a man to another man, like CardCollector2, who takes that card, sends it to another man called MarxCards, who then sends that to another man who will tell you the grade of the card. MarxCards, CardCollector2, the cleaning kit, all the influencers that tell you when to buy, when to sell, what to buy, how to buy. It's all related. It's all a circle jerk. It's all these influencers telling you what to do. It's the hype culture. And apparently, if you talk about it, and apparently, if you draw a question to it, especially if you're not on the break or you're not a customer, you're part of the tinfoil hat crew. But what the tinfoil hat crew knows about Mr. Johnson is he apparently doesn't even know how to run a group submission business on his own, since he needs another man to run that for him. And that other man, clearly he didn't do any financial or personal vetting on, since that man ran off with the customer's money, and in some cases, maybe even their cards.